obviously
Yeah.
with Forest yesterday. But yeah, you unfortunately are wishing the downfall of them teams so that we can leapfrog them and get that safe. Man United, who, let's be fair, are not sort of enjoying the successes that they had, in the 90s under Ferguson and all that. They've done well since Carrick's took over, but I mean,
You look at the United game and you go, look, this is what we've got to work with. Tottenham losing against Newcastle was completely and utterly crucial for West Ham as well, because you can see
yeah,
that light now at the end of the tunnel, a tiny little glimmer. It's because Man United failed to win 5 in a row, which means only one thing: someone didn't get their haircut.
yeah, and it wasn't
It
me.
is crazy. It was.
TG, man, that shit go crazy.
Took my time and got it right.
Hi, James here. Just a quick message to say, have you subscribed yet? If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on oneWAYfootball. As they say at a famous supermarket, every little helps. Thank you very much and enjoy the video.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching around the world. This is One Way Football's one-on-one fan talk, and today I'm joined here with the one and only Izzy Rascal, the number one West Ham fan we have on the channel. He comes on regularly on this channel to talk about his beloved club, West Ham. Just before we get into the video, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe as well if you haven't already to the channel to see more content like this. So let's get into it. I'm forever blowing bubbles because Man United failed to win 5 in a row, which means only one thing: someone didn't get their haircut. Um,
Yeah, and it wasn't
it
me.
is crazy. It was crazy to think, right? Like if you think about this, it's crazy to think that I looked on Sky Sports, Talk Sport, and I think it was
Yeah,
BBC
yeah.
Sport, and everything was evolved around not what United could do, but about one guy getting his hair cut.
This is the power of social media in 2026, mate. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that was as prominent on the kind of pre-match discussions as it was and stuff. I mean, yeah, fair play to him. He's getting notoriety from it, but yeah, I was more
But a lot of
concerned
people
about
are
us
calling him out
trying
that
to
he's
win.
milking it now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure he probably didn't think it would, snowball as much as it has. And I'm all for people doing whatever they need to do to, get whatever he's getting out of it, whether it's money, exposure. I think fair play to him, to be fair. But like I said to you, if you're a Man U fan though, I can see why it would be a little bit jarring for you because he's kind of taken away. It's that element to it. Like if I was a West Ham fan and we had a player like someone like that, revolving around this sort of circus about cutting your hair, I think, I'd be a bit aggrieved because the focus should be the football. But I don't know, man. This is the world we live in now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain as much because we all thrive off of social media these days, and it becomes a part of our lives,
Exactly.
and it actually helps people out survive. I think social media, because when you've got nothing to do, for your mental health as well. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
something to look forward to throughout the day. Doing a video if you're making a video, or doing something about a football team, or just doing something generally on social media can help someone's mental health. Because if you don't have that, then I know it can destroy mental health, but at the same time, other people use it as a thing to distract themselves from, the
It's
brutal realities that are in our lives.
Yeah, so it's always the balance in it, a little bit yin and yang. I think that everything in sort of moderation. So yeah, I think with social media, yeah, you talked about the bad points of it, but there's also good points. Someone could be, watching his videos and actually enjoying, sort of seeing him struggle. But it also may be a good thing for them as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It's a
Well, fair
crazy
play
one.
to him. He's keeping it up, and he's not just letting it go, because a lot of people probably slandered the guy if he just went and cut his hair now and just went, oh, you know what, I'm
Well,
done with it.
yeah, I thought from what I was hearing that he might my interpretation, which is pretty zero, but I thought that there was pressure, but also people going, "Oh, just we'll let you off, just cut it," type thing. But I don't quite know where people stand on it. Maybe they just want him to commit to what he did say, and man, you've got to win the 5 games in a row. But I mean, I don't know. How long's he going to have to endure that for? Who knows?
This is also how bad like pundits and Sky Sports have got, because rather than talking about the game or what Carrick's doing, they've got to just dive into some kid trying to get his hair cut through
Yeah,
United's failure of winning 5 games. And winning 5 games is not easy, by the way.
yeah.
It
This is
isn't
it.
easy for any club.
Yeah, let alone, like Man United, who, let's be fair, are not sort of enjoying the successes that they had, in the 90s under Ferguson and all that. They've done well since Carrick's took over, but I mean, even then, it's still, you're in a league that's competitive, playing different teams with their different strategies. It's not easy, like you say, to pick up them 5 wins. So, and thanks to us, he didn't, Man United didn't, and he didn't get his hair cut. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, let's get into that now with West Ham, because West Ham are in a position now where it's do or die. You've got to make or break it. It's not over until the fat lady sings, as they say. And this is what West Ham have got to look at now. They've got to look forward and bounce back off of this draw that they got against United. Probably a big draw as well, because United have been on great form, to be fair, after their 4 wins in a row. But West Ham have now got to look forward. They know what's ahead of them. They know what is above them within the table. Um, Looking at the table as well, you've got lurking, which is, I mean, Forest failing to do the job yesterday on Wolves. They picked up a point. That must have, in your eyes as well. I mean, you're 3 points off of them to get out of the relegation zone. So that is something that West Ham have been looking on, isn't it?
Yeah, and also the goal difference, which is now 4, I think, which is important as a point. So, the Man U game was a great result. Would have took a draw, at the beginning of the match, but to kind of lose it it still stings a little bit. I keep saying lose it, to like draw it, by the manner of the goal and the added time. I didn't think that 7 minutes was. I don't know where they got 7 minutes from. He scored, I think, in +6, +5 or something. So that's a hard one to take. But yeah, we would have accepted the draw at the start of the game. And when you think about where we are now, which is 3 points off, and the goal difference, I said that we would still need a win and a draw, or a win and a win, in order to get above Forest. So I'm trying to be positive and take that as a draw. But we played well. We deserved something out of the game, and I just feel, yeah, the goal leaves a bit of a sour taste in the mouth. But it was a great goal by Sesko. But yeah, we are 4 points. I consider it 4 points off, really, and we just got to hope. And now they've got the manager sacked. Like Sean Dyche has been sacked. I don't know who's in contention to take over. I'm hoping there's no manager bounce. You've got that to kind of maybe consider.
Yeah.
So it's still in a precarious position for us at the moment, unfortunately.
I mean, you was close with Chelsea as well. Obviously, that was a bit probably of a
Ah,
heartbreak.
that was
3-2.
yeah, another one. We're 2-0
Um,
up, and
and you do look at these games and you go, yeah, no, what if muts and maybes? You know what I mean? It's it is one of them, and I do exactly the same with Arsenal. Looking back at games that we've drawn, and if we could be this many points ahead or da da da, and we failed to do it, and it's just the beauty of football that happens when your expectations are so high to get them points, and it just completely drops. But that is the beauty of the game. Um, I mean, look, do you out of your last from Tottenham, you got a win against Tottenham. You won against Sunderland. You lost against Chelsea. You won against Burnley. You bounced back and got a draw against West Ham. Now, if you're looking at them games, you've not done bad,
oh, they've done
considering how
brilliant.
you started the season.
Yeah, done brilliant. There seems to be a little bit of form that's crept in since the Tottenham game, and long may it continue. But yeah, I don't know whether that's just Nuno getting his kind of feet in the door kind of thing, and having time to settle, get familiar with the players, the acquisitions that we had in January. That all combines, and Paqueta's left. I think the maybe the confidence and the stability dressing room all factors in. But yeah, I think the losing of the games from strong positions is the one. We were winning it again at Man U. We've drawn. not taking anything away from it. And I felt tactically, Nuno didn't do anything too negative. I think the Chelsea game, we sat back and invited that pressure on. We haven't had a clean sheet. We have now had one with Hermanson in goal, but we hadn't had a clean sheet for like a year or whatever. So sitting back and soaking up the pressure is not really the best way for West Ham to hold on to possible wins or draws or whatever. So that Nuno adopting that approach early on in matches, i.e. second half, I don't know, with 30 minutes to go, just absolutely terrifies me because I have no confidence that we're able to hold on. And we've seen it with Chelsea. But with Man U, I didn't feel he resorted back to that defensive mentality. Yeah, he made some subs, but to me, it wasn't like, oh, we've got the goal, let's sit on it. We had some good chances with Wilson at the end. We're still trying to like kind of counter attack, and at least with that result, I feel we didn't, kind of sit back and just let that happen. It was a good goal, and sometimes you just gotta take what happens on the pitch, and it was a brilliant bit of skill, to be fair.
Yeah, of course. Look, so yeah, I mean, I would say you look at the United game and you go, look, this is what we've got to work with. Tottenham losing against Newcastle was completely and utterly crucial for West Ham as well, because you can see
Yeah,
that light now at the end of the tunnel, a tiny little glimmer at the end of that tunnel. You know,
not I mean, that was great. I mean, I had one eye on that game as well because I thought Tottenham would win. To be fair, and obviously that's another situation where the manager's been sacked. So you've got those two clubs that are now managerless, and I'm wondering who they're going to bring in, how that's going to change things. Are they going to have that manager bounce? I'm a little bit concerned about that. We shouldn't be worrying too much what other teams are doing, but that does make me feel a little bit like if they kept the managers, maybe the form follows them. They haven't. We've been the better team out of the three down the bottom there in terms of recent form, and now I'm just a little bit. How is that going to change things? It's a kind of an element that's you're not sure of, depending on who they get
yeah,
in.
I think as well that West Ham have now looking at Tottenham and probably rubbing their hands together a little bit, as of obviously Tottenham's next game is against Arsenal.
Yeah,
Um,
which I mean, I'm going to love watching that because it's going to be a pressure game for you guys, and it's pressure for them, and I think it's going to be a real good derby, that one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like with us, it's we've got to win our remaining games up to that point. I think if we can beat Brentford tonight, and we can also beat Wolves, because we've got to play Wolves as well, because that game's been pushed forward because of the Carabao Cup final. Um,
Okay.
so we've got to play two games before we play Tottenham, whereas Tottenham have only got now they've got a space. They've got, I think, 12 days or something like that until they play us. They haven't
And
actually got any other games to play, you know.
that's probably in the mindset of why they got rid of him when they did, to give the new
Yeah,
guy
I
time to
was
come
thinking
in
that
and
they know
have that
they
prep.
know what they're up against, so they're thinking bring another manager in. We might get new manager bounce off of that. Um,
Yeah,
But for a West Ham's perspective, yeah, you've got to be rubbing your hands together and going, okay, so you've got your FA Cup game at the weekend as well,
yeah.
um, against Burton. Now, do you concentrate on that game, or do you set your mindset to the league? Because I know
I,
that you want to get that you want to progress in the cup, but what kind of team do you put out? I mean, I know that
I,
you don't have many options anyway, but
I think you got to do a bit of both. We're in that position to play. With all due respect, a bit of a weaker opposition, and we're in the fourth round. We don't want to. We've done this before. We went away to live. We had Liverpool in the cup one year, and then we went up there with a completely depleted team, which was just, I think is appalling. Really, we want to give Burton the respect they deserve and actually play a team, with some changes, but also some players that are actually still in the first team, but are actually going to compete. So I think, players like Wilson could get a start and should get a start maybe because he's been playing. It's always a bit risky with him, but I mean, I don't see the problem in him starting and then coming off, keeping him fresh because he's only getting 20 minutes at the end of matches. And I think his fitness, that run he had against Man U and that Euro, stepping in and stopping the shot at the last minute shows he's got pace. Probably not
mm,
seen him run with that sort of pace for a while. So I think he could have a good shout. You could probably give Bowen a rest, I think. Some of you a rest. Um, a couple of little players dropping off. I think I'd play Fernandez. So I think you got to keep it a little bit of a mixture. some players should play still and some shouldn't. But yeah, we want to have a cup run. You know, we want to treat the competition with the respect that it kind of deserves, I think. So,
Yeah, no,
but
I
also
agree as well.
the league is the league is vital. So there's no point playing. I personally wouldn't play like a Bowen against Burton. I think we can do without him. He needs a rest anyway. And yeah, we have some of them important players that are going to be fresh for the next game in the league. That's how I would play it anyway.
Talk about Thomas, by the way, Thomas Souček. He's come out of his shell a bit now, hasn't he? He's performing well. He's putting in the goals for you.
Well, he's now the Premier League's most. What was it? The Premier League's, the Czech Republic's high scorer in the Premier League since Patrick Berger. I think Souček has been a cult hero for us. I think his performances have been, cult status. He frustrates me because his distribution is poor. I've seen an improvement, I'd argue, kind of this year a little bit. But his strengths are box to box, putting his body on the line, and that's what West Ham fans love. We either love, someone who's going to dazzle us with skills, or someone who's going to give 110%. And Thomas Souček, epitomises the effort. That's why we love a player like him. And it doesn't really matter about the ability or his shortcomings in certain areas, whether it's his passing, like I said, but he will always try his best, and for that you can't fault that. We love a player like that.
Yeah, completely. I think he was outstanding against United.
Yeah,
Assist from Bowen as
I'd
well.
agree. Yeah, I'd
Um,
agree. I mean, and he gets himself in them positions all the time, and it was a cute finish.
yeah, 100%. What lacks though at obviously West Ham? I know you held your own a bit against United until that, obviously Sesko coming on and putting the goal away to make it 1-1. But you held them off quite well until that moment, and it just that kind of like sigh of like, oh, you think you've got it kind of wrapped up. I think
Yeah,
was it 7 minutes they added on in that game?
yeah, and
I think
again,
that was a bit too much. I'm sorry, but I think they're getting away with a lot of the times with these games with these diabolical added on time. Where they get it from is unbelievable.
yeah,
Um,
it wasn't a game that had, a lot of time wasting in terms of injuries or anything like that. And like I said, I don't know if Fergie was in the VAR room with his Fergie time, but before the minutes came up, I was like, oh, it's going to be about 3-4 minutes. So to see 7, again, a lot of people were scratching their heads, even neutrals, as to where that time come from. You got to just take these decisions. But again, I'll come back to the officiating, which is, I didn't think the ref was good either, actually. But the officiating always leaves a bit of a sour taste in the mouth as well, because you're questioning things. Even with the offside they had, Casemiro's goal, I think it was, and you just think to yourself, this is a very easy decision to make, and you should be making it quite quickly. They're freezing the image, they're rewinding it back, they're looking at, it's like he's off. Let's move on with the game. So these things frustrate me, to be honest, James. But yeah, in terms of yeah, again, it was a bit of brilliance. So you just gotta take it on the chin with
yeah,
that goal and the result. But as I say, it's the manner of it. The 7 minutes. Oh, what if it was 4 minutes? He doesn't get that chance. So it's kind of hard to take. I'm happy to lose when there's no, or draw when there's kind of no questionable scenarios, but there always seems to be one, mate, in football nowadays.
yeah, I agree with that. Traore coming on, by the way. He's an
The
absolute
tank.
beast. You know what? Obviously we haven't had a chat about when you played Chelsea when he threw
Uh,
Pedro something
it
out
was
of
it was
WWE.
I was just going to say it was like a Royal Rumble or something. I don't know what was going on, but I was actually in the pub watching that game, and I came back from the bathroom and saw the aftermath of it. So I didn't see what prompted it all. It was just one of them things. I don't know what kind of went
He's
on.
actually
I was
having a
sorry.
go at the sideline, the sideline. And Pedro obviously got in his way to say, like, what are
Yeah,
you going on about? It's
and Kucher,
ours, you know what I mean? And he just threw him,
Cucurella,
he just launched him out of the way. Yeah,
Cucurella's a
no,
wind up as
Cucurella, yeah,
well. Yeah,
Cucurella
yeah,
it
yeah.
was. And then
it was
Pedro's face dropped as he came to storm over to him and
oh
turned into the Hulk.
yeah, he's a big lad, Traore. But just going back to the match, like the game management element, there was a moment in I think it was around 2 minutes of added time where we had, I don't know if it was a throw on or a corner, and they were trying to keep it in the corner, and I think the players were like Bowen and I don't know, Potts, whoever it was. And I'm like, we've got Traore on the pitch. Like, arguably, the geezer's a tank. If you're going to hold the ball up, surely he's the best person to do it. So like, things like
Yeah,
that, I don't want to nitpick,
yeah,
like I say, but I'm watching it going, driving me nuts. Where is Traore? You've got him on the pitch. His best quality is obviously his strength, and you want to hold the ball up. Well, hang on, scratch my head. Why not use him to
yeah,
do that? But
yeah, yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I say, you just reminded me of that because I was like, oh, for God's sake, they'll
It's
get a
and
goal
it's
here.
just like little things like that that probably get under your skin because you just want the team to gel. You want them to do well. And like you say,
Yeah.
back to the United game, you 1-0 up, and it's just like deflation. And you're back
Yeah,
to square one
just in the
again.
manner. But again, trying to be positive. We're in a great run of form. We've got some great results. Like Man U draw is nothing to be,
I mean, the
sort of.
results around
It's
you over that day, with Chelsea also drawing against Leeds. I mean, Leeds were
oh well,
actually
that was a.
Chelsea were lucky that Leeds didn't actually score and win the game.
Yeah, so we were looking at that game as well to feel. But again, we're in our position ourselves. We've got to get out of it ourselves. But with Chelsea being 2-0 up, I couldn't believe that Leeds came back, and they've done
Yeah,
a good
yeah, yeah,
job.
yeah.
People keep on saying, "Oh, they're in relegation," but they've kept themselves at arm's length all the time. And it's been Forest that have been down there, and now Tottenham has sunk below them, I believe. So they've done a great job, Leeds, in just keeping away from the focus of it, and I think they've done a good job.
Now, I would
Fair
say
play
as
to
well
them.
that teams that are down in relegation will probably fear me more than the top six that are at the top of the league. I know some Tottenham fans and Tottenham fan that I have on here will be like, "Oh, right, you're just calling out Tottenham because you know." like we're in a relegation battle.
I think a lot of fans
I've
are rubbing
I've
their hands.
well, I've said this and I've told him, I think Tottenham aren't that team to go down anyway. That's coming
I
from an
don't.
Arsenal fan and perspective. I don't think they will go down. I think
No.
there's going to be too many twists and turns in this anyway for yourselves in probably not a good sense. Um, and also with Nottingham Forest, they're not just that great. Dyche has always been the type of manager to keep teams up, but I don't think he's got the ability to do it with Forest right now. I really don't. I think
I don't think either. I think, but like, yeah, obviously, like with Forest, and Tottenham having their managers, that kind of thing. That's the thing that's gonna be key. Who they're gonna get in, and you said twists and turns and all that sort of stuff as well. So I think that I just hope that it doesn't bump them up too much, doesn't give them confidence. They're not going to do anything. That's why I
yeah.
was hoping they would keep the managers because at least that form would continue. But I don't think
Mm.
Tottenham will go down because they've suffered with injuries, to be fair to them, and they are. I just don't see it. Even though they're where they are, they were there last year, down the bottom, and they got out of it. And I think it'll be the same this year. I'm just kind of hoping that them being there is enough to make everyone else nervous. Do you know what I mean? Like if they were clear and there was a gap and it was just West Ham and Forest, then it makes the focus on us. Whereas at least with them there, they're in the discussion, kind of thing.
Yeah, even though the form that everyone's in, and this is what going back to what I just said then about I fear teams that are in a relegation battle because they're fighting for them points, and this is why it's come at a bad time I think for Arsenal to play Tottenham because Tottenham are now,
Yeah.
like you say, going to get a new manager. They're going to have that new bounce feeling. There was talks of the dressing room getting fed up with Thomas because all he ever used to do was talk about how good Arsenal are and that he wants to be better than Arsenal and Arsenal and Arsenal. And that's they were there, and it's been flattered around on the news and that. And the
Oh
players
wow.
in the
Okay.
dressing room just had an absolute enough of it. He just kept talking about how good Arsenal were and not concentrating on, he just kept using us as an example, you know. And
Wow.
I think
Um,
as a rival, you don't really want to be hearing that in the dressing room, really. Do you know what I mean?
no, I'm surprised how it's gone for him. To be fair, but I did feel for him that he shouldn't have left Brentford. I thought he was doing a great job with
Yeah.
Brentford, but this is the fickleness of it.
But
All
this
of a
is what I'm
sudden, oh,
saying.
he's
So
rubbish. He's rubbish now.
yeah, we've got to play them. which they're basically like saying in a relegation battle. So it's going to make it even harder, I think, for Arsenal to go to Tottenham, try and hold up against the team that's got probably a new manager by that time, and they know what they've got to do to keep the points up to stay up. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as like Arsenal fans think it's going to be, going into that game. I think it's going to be a rough and tumble game. I think they are going to hold their own against us. But as a West Ham fan, you obviously want Arsenal to absolutely destroy them so you can get closer. You could be in reach by that time, because you play before we play, um, which you got Bournemouth at home. So by the
Again,
time
another
you
tough one.
win and it gets to our game, you could be 2 points behind them.
Yeah, this is the thing with the games like us playing early and later, and like with Forest playing, that put pressure on Forest. I think them playing after us and after we get a point, and it's those kind of psychological battles with the fixtures as well. You got to think of. There's so many elements to it, and I agree with you. I think with the Arsenal, I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a derby for the ages, just because of where they are, where you are. You're going for the title. They're trying to survive. They've got a new match. There's a lot
Only
of
thing we've
little
got to worry
elements to it.
about is, well, they've got to worry about is how many injuries they've got. They might get a few players back by
Yeah,
that time because it's not until 12 days later. But I'm
and
saying,
in fairness to them, they've suffered a lot with the injuries they've had.
yeah, no, that's it's crucial. Like I was looking at their injuries, and it's like absolutely madness. Kudus, Madison, Joe Kuleveski, I mean, and you just look at it; it's an ongoing list. It's basically their first team. It is,
Yeah, a lot
you
of,
know.
and Romero, he got the red card. So is
He
he
got the red
available for that
card.
game, or
Yeah, I don't know
is he
even if
out?
he's going to be available. Yeah, he might
That's
be
a
out
big.
for that game.
I don't know if that's a big help or not a big help of him having him out. You kind of want his recklessness in a derby game. I think
Yeah,
for
you
you
probably do.
as an
Yeah.
Arsenal fan, even though he's a good player, but you never know his
Mm.
temperament. It could be a flashpoint, get him sent off. So I just think it's going to be a real great derby for the ages. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, but as a West Ham fan, because you're in that spot as well, it's hard not to try and wish a downfall of Leeds, Tottenham, and Forest at the moment, isn't it? You're probably
Yeah,
praying to see this downfall for them, just to give you that little bit of boost, aren't you?
yeah, even Palace as well. Just to have
Because
them in the
obviously, as an
combo
Arsenal
a little
fan,
bit.
everyone keeps telling me don't stop concentrating what City and Villa are doing and stuff like that. Just you go game by game. But when you're at the different side of the table, it's hard to not watch what other teams are
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, and like I say, we put ourselves in a position where we're relying on these teams losing and stuff like that. So yeah, we're obviously I've got respect for all them teams, even Tottenham, believe it or not. But I think that yeah, you want them to lose. I was ecstatic when Newcastle beat them. I couldn't believe Leeds drew at Chelsea. I was like, oh my god, we needed them sort of involved. And obviously
Yeah,
with Forest yesterday, but yeah, you unfortunately are wishing the downfall of them teams so that we can leapfrog them and get that safety. But it's so close down there, and things change week on week. I don't know.
yeah.
Like my position was I felt we were down. I think we've put ourselves in a great position to give ourselves a chance of getting out of it. But it's still difficult. We're the ones that have to chase. We're the ones that are relying on the others to not perform as well. But you never know. Could be a great
You
escape
never
2.0.
know. Um, okay, so we're getting to that time of the show now where we ask for your predictions of the next up and coming games. Just had a
Oh
look at your
god.
up and coming
Although
games, mate. We just had
yeah,
a look. It's not looking good, mate. It's not
that's what I
looking good.
mean, mate. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. But we, I predicted 1-1. So I did a good job for the Man
Yeah,
U
yeah,
game.
yeah.
But we'll see how we
Right,
go with these
okay, so let's get
fixtures.
into it.
Yeah.
We're gonna brush past the FA Cup for now because we're gonna be
Okay.
just been obviously solely talking about the league matches. So you're at home to Bournemouth. So let's kick off with Bournemouth. What are you thinking with this
Wow.
game?
It's a tough one as well. That one. There's no easy games. I say it all the time. I feel it's going to be a draw with them. I think a 1-1 draw again.
1-1 draw. Okay, at
Yeah.
home, a point. And that could be a crucial point,
And we
That
need
could,
we need to really beat them, but I feel it's going to be a draw. That's just my feeling.
well, it's not looking good for your next up
I
and
know.
coming games because we've got Liverpool next away. They're not on form anyway, so that's the only thing you
No.
can kind of justify. They got a win against Sunderland last night. Um, but then again, they're still not really connecting. They're not gelling very well at the moment. But what are you saying? What are you saying?
I think we're
Speak with
because
your
I looked
heart, not your head.
Yeah, I looked at the fixtures. We've got, I don't know if it's Man City as well further down the line, but I fancy us to get something at Liverpool. I do fancy
Right.
us to get
Okay.
something there. Now,
Okay. And what you saying?
I, uh, uh, I'm just going to go really obscure with a win. I just feel we could upset a big team
Okay.
in this fixture run. I just feel we could. So I'll go 2-1
Two
West
one.
Ham.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's that many goals in it as well. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um. Then you've got like a kind of Medicure like kind of game, uh, which is a Wednesday night as well. You got Fulham away.
I think we'll lose 1-0.
If it lose to Fulham,
Yeah, I feel we're going to be very crazy with the results. Like we'll do really well against the teams you'd expect us to lose, and we'll scupper against the worser teams. With all due respect, against Fulham, I just feel
okay.
that's how we'll go through this sort of period.
Okay, so far we've got 4 points out of 3 games. Um, so moving on to the next big one, which I'm praying you get something out of this. It's very. I remember asking you for a favour at the end of 2023-24 season. Um, when it went to the last like game of the season, I remember like just praying that West Ham would like turn up that day, and behold, they didn't.
No, no. Well,
Um,
we've done it a couple of times. I remember doing it when we held Man U and Blackburn won the league. We've done it a couple of times. We do have a
yeah.
habit of upsetting the big teams. But is it City this next game?
Yeah, so it's City. Yeah, you're at home to City.
Yeah, I think we'll lose 3-1 to them.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
3-1.
I think out of City and Liverpool, we got a better chance of beating Liverpool, and I'd fancy
Yeah,
us more, even though it's there at their ground. I just think I just fancy us to be quite resolute with them, and we'll just be like a bit of a pain for them.
yeah.
We're not going to
So
be
we got 4 out of
expansive.
4. So we got
Yep.
4 out of 4. And I'm going to make the last game do 5 games. Aston Villa, which is
Oh,
also
yeah,
another
this
tricky
is it.
one because Aston Villa is still on that par of trying to chase something. I think is it a point above Man United or,
Yeah, yeah, I
um,
think they are. Yeah, in third place, right? Um, yeah, I mean,
so
them three
they are
fixtures,
on.
God.
Yeah, so they're actually no, they're 5 points ahead of Manchester United. So don't know what it
Oh
would be
wow.
by that time anyway. But what are you saying? Because obviously you're away at Aston Villa, it's going to be a tough game as well.
Yeah, these three, Liverpool, City, and Villa, that is a tough run of games. But I would say a draw.
A draw. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got 5 points out of 5 games there. Um,
Now
might be crucial for 5 points, mate. Might be crucial for 5 points, considering how other teams do though.
yeah, I mean, that sounds a little bit. I mean, you'd probably get amazing odds for those predictions there, and they're a little bit off key. But I do think we'll get something against one of them three teams, and
Hmm.
I think we will kind of the teams you expect us to do well against, we won't. Now, the Fulham and Bournemouth game, obviously massive. We ideally want to get 6 points there, but knowing us, I feel we won't, and I think Bournemouth and Fulham are going to be tough. But yeah, that's just how I see it. We may beat one of them teams, but we'll definitely won't beat both of them. And then I'm hoping we nick something at Liverpool because I think that's the game that out of the three, even though I said we draw to Villa, that I just fancy us to be a real pain for them. Like Liverpool, their fans will be expecting, oh, we're not 2-0 up in 20 minutes, and we're just going to slowly creep to the finish line in that game. But
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
yeah. Well, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid, on One Fan Talk with West Ham's Izzy Rascal on the show. Thank you very much, mate, for coming on. It's been an
Oh,
absolute
you're
pleasure.
welcome,
I'll
mate.
put a link in the
Thank you.
comments below to your TikTok. It's very interesting, his TikTok channel. I jump on there. He has talks about music and different genres of music at sometimes on his show. I like the one where we have to choose the song and then you do the rating. So happy face for
Yeah,
like
so
if it's a good one, sad face if it's not. I like that one. I
yeah,
think I come out
it,
with some unique songs actually.
Well, I mean, your expertise in a little bit of mixing and DJing or whatever, it
Being
comes
like a
into good
radio
play.
DJ.
Yeah, you've requested some good songs, and
Got the
yeah, it's a
face
good
for a
one because
radio anyway.
that's what I think for myself as well, mate. So I could probably do some radio work, but it's a good one because people join and they can give their opinions with the smiley face,
Yeah,
sad
and
face
also I
music.
did enjoy as well when you do a pre-match warm-up live video as well for the football, which is good as well. It's quite entertaining. You did a combined 11 the other day with two United fans, which
Yeah,
I
that
was
was good. That was
refereeing.
fun.
That was pretty good. That was fun. That.
Yeah, it
But
was good.
yeah, if you want to for more content of Izzy Rascal, head over to his TikTok account and join him on his profile. And yeah, he is very, very entertaining on there, and sometimes very late on
Thanks,
in the
mate.
night as well. I,
Yeah,
I,
night
I
owl, not an
wonder where
early
you get
bird.
your energy from, mate, because I'm usually tucked up and then I go to the toilet, like I said before, and there he is on the phone doing the
It's
live
it's
at 2 o'clock in the
it.
morning.
But saying that, I crashed out at like 8 o'clock. I had a kind of like a little power nap, and then I was right as rain, like about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So I was ready for the evening. But I'm more a night owl than an early bird, so that
Absolute
makes sense.
legends. Well, thank you very much for coming on. If you haven't all right,
Cheers, mate.
or haven't already, like the video, hit the subscribe button you haven't already, and for more content, for new content coming out, share every bit of content that you see just to help this channel out, One Way Football. And we shall see Izzy Rascal probably in a couple of weeks' time after you've had a few games, and we'll see how you're getting on. Cheers, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Come on, you irons. Thanks,
Close your
mate.
eyes,
All the best.
blowing bubbles.
Yeah,